So far now, already we have seen how to denote the deep neural network. We already discussed whenever we are taking more number of hidden layers, then it is called as deep neural network. If we are taking only one or two hidden layers, then it is a shallow neural network. But when the hidden layers are increasing, then it is a deep neural network. Now we are seeing the forward propagation in the deep neural network. How we apply this forward propagation? We apply the forward propagation in the similar way as we applied for the smaller neural networks. Now first we start with the Z. We have to calculate the Z. For calculating the Z, we are depending on the W and B and X. So here we already know this W1 is the matrix which is consisting of parameters that are controlling the activation functions of first layer. And the W1 matrix size is 5 by 3 because the number of activation units in the first layer are 5 and the number of activation units in the previous layer are 3. So the W1 matrix is 5 by 3. And remember, this W1 matrix size will not change even though if we implement for M training samples. Even though when we are implementing for M training samples, the matrix size of W1 is remaining same because the neural network structure or the number of activation units only deciding the W matrix size. Okay. So this W matrix size is 5 by 3 and this B is again, what is this B? We are taking example B superscript 1. So if we draw 5 wires to all activation units in the first layer, then this B is a 5 by 1 matrix and the W1 is a 5 by 3 matrix. So this W is a 5 by 3 matrix and X is nothing but the input features we are giving for one training sample. How many features are there? 3 features are there. If we are taking 3 rows, then it is a 3 by 1 matrix. Whenever we are multiplying these two matrices, the resultant is a 5 by 1 matrix. So W into X is a 5 by 1 matrix. So we are adding a 5 by 1 matrix with another 5 by 1 matrix. So the resultant of Z matrix is also a 5 by 1 matrix. What is this Z matrix? It is nothing but the Z of the first layer activation units. It is consisting 5 elements in this matrix. Each element is giving the Z value of respective activation units. Now, because the Z is 5 by 1 matrix, if we apply any activation function, whether it is sigmoid function or a tan H function or rectified linear unit function or a leaky rectified linear unit function, the A1, the activation units output is same as 5 by 1 matrix. This is what we already discussed. We know with the previous knowledge. Now, Z2, when we are finding the Z2, we are taking the W2. The W2, the matrix size of W2 is 5 by 5. So we are taking a 5 by 5 matrix. Now, when we want to multiply this W2 with the input layer for the second layer is first layer. In the first layer, we are having 5 activation units and the matrix size of A1 is 5 by 1. So we are multiplying 5 by 5 matrix with the 5 by 1 matrix and the resultant is 5 by 1 matrix. And B2 is again a 5 by 1 matrix. So we are adding a 5 by 1 matrix with the 5 by 1 matrix. So the Z matrix is 5 by 1. It is indicating a matrix which is consisting activation units of the second layer. For those activation units, we are finding the Z value. Now we have calculated the activation units output when we applied the activation function to the Z. Only these two steps are there in the forward propagation. First, finding the Z. For finding the Z, we are using the W, X and B, or W and input plus B. And already we know this B is fixed. Already we are saying this as a biased for each training sample. We are using the W, A and B to calculate the Z. In the second step, we are calculating the G of Z. Those two steps we can continue even if we have 100 layers in the neural network. Now, similarly, we can calculate the Z3. So if we are finding the final layer Z4, in the final layer, when I am taking the W4, the W4 matrix size is 1 by 3. So it is 1 by 3. And A3 is how many activation units are there in the third layer? 3 activation units. So it is a 3 by 1 matrix. So result is a 1 by 1 matrix, and B4 is a 1 by 1 matrix. So Z4 is nothing but 1 by 1 matrix. Z4 is 1 by 1 matrix because we have only one activation unit in the fourth layer. Now, when we apply the sigmoid function to this Z4, we are getting only one activation unit output. This is the predicted output. So far now, we have discussed the process for only one training sample. If we give a single training sample, then we have got the output y cap, which we can also call it as a A4, means the activation unit output of the fourth layer. But I want to know the predicted outputs for all M training samples. If we want to know the predicted output for all M training samples, then we are expecting the predicted output for first training sample, the predicted output for second training sample, and the predicted output for mth training sample. Means we are expecting a 1 by M matrix. Means we are expecting the A4 matrix, the capital A4 matrix must be a 1 by M matrix, which is consisting the predicted outputs of all M training samples. For that, we are vectorizing. While vectorizing, there is no change in the W1 and there is no change in the B1 because these are system parameters or neural network parameters. Only we are changing this X. Previously, this small x is equal to input features, example 1, 2, x1, x2, x3, only 3 features are there. Now, in the capital X, we are taking the input features of the first training sample x1, x2, x3, and input features of the second training sample x1, x2, x3. Similarly, input features of the mth training sample. So the capital X matrix is changed to 3 by M matrix. This is a 3 by M matrix. So because the capital X matrix is changed to 3 by M matrix, depending on that, the capital Z also changes. Because the capital Z is changed, capital A is also changing. Now how the Z is changing? Now the capital Z is nothing but the activation units Z. Example, if I take in the first layer, activation units are 5. The 5 activation unit Z are here for first training sample and for second training sample and for mth training sample. This is capital Z. Similarly, the A will be whatever the matrix size of Z, the same matrix size of A will be there. So if we apply the sigmoid of Z or tan H of Z or any activation function of Z, we are getting the activation functions outputs of the first layer for all training sample. Every time you have to remember this point. The columns are telling the columns are indicating that the training sample. If I take the second column, it is giving the second training samples activation unit output when I am dealing with capital A. When I am dealing with capital Z, it is giving the second training samples output or second training samples Z values for the first activation layer. If I take some 3, it is giving third training samples Z value for the first layer we are getting. This is how we are denoting when we are vectorizing. Another point we have to mention here, we can also take this input layer as A superscript 0. We can call it as A superscript 0. We can call the first layer as A superscript 1. For our convenience, we may call it as a 0th layer. Okay. Now, as we have already discussed for the single training sample and for M training samples, now we are seeing the generalized form. This is for single training sample. For single training sample, ZL is equal to WL into AL minus 1 into BL. From this, AL is equal to G of ZL. I want to apply it for example 100th layer. Now I want to know what are the Z values of activation units in the 100th layer. For that, I am writing Z100. So I want the parameter matrix of the 100th layer. Now for that, we are taking the input of the activation units of 99th layer plus B100. B100. Now when we are writing the activation unit of the 100th layer, we are writing it as a G of 100, G of 100 and Z of 100. A very simple point. To calculate the 100th layer activation unit, we are taking the activation units of the 99th layer and we are multiplying with the weights or parameters. Then we are getting the Z. We are substituting that Z in the activation function. We are getting the 100th layer. This is what we have. So this is a generalized formula for the deep neural network notation whenever we are finding the activation functions of a particular layer for single training sample. But when we vectorize, as we already discussed, the W will not change, the B will not change, but the capital X will change. So this is the vectorized notation. As we already discussed, Z capital Z1 is giving the all the Z values of all training samples of the first layer. So in the first layer, whenever we are having some 5 activation units, in the first column we are getting the Z values of the 5 activation units. In the mth column we are getting the Z values of the first layer activation units for the mth training sample. Similarly Z2 and A2. Now when we vectorize, when we want to when we are discussing how to vectorize this, so remember one point. Here when we vectorized, we have taken 4 steps. Z1, because we have 4 layers, first we calculated the Z1 and A1, Z2, A2, Z4 and A4. We can use the for loop, even though we discussed to avoid the explicit use of the for loops. Here there is no chance to us in the final way. We have to represent with a single 2-line code with a for loop. So that code will be executed for the 4 times. Means first it is calculating Z1 A1, next it is calculating Z2 A2, next it is calculating Z3 A3, next it is calculating Z4 A4. Similarly, we can make sure that this for loop is calculating the Z and A values of the 100 layers also. By using a 2-line code with the for loop, we are calculating the vectorized Z and activation function, activation unit outputs of so complex or 100 layer neural networks also, by using a 2-line code and by applying a for loop to it. So in the final point, we have discussed that we are simply writing this is the general notation for vectorized version. So we are writing here Z superscript L. This is equal to WL instead of small a, now capital A. A superscript L is equal to GL capital Z superscript L. This is how we proceed with the forward propagation. Now we discussed elaborately how to proceed in the forward propagation. Now we are discussing some parameters, about some parameters.